Hi, Scott Andruff again for atmosklear odor eliminator. One of our biggest application issues we have is with people that have bought a used car and it smells like smoke. It's a common question that we get daily. And I'm going to show you how, when a bottle of atmosklear and a couple of little techniques on how to apply it, that you can take your new, used, smoked-in car and turn it into a non-smoking vehicle. And the beauty of this is once we treat it and the smell is gone, it will never return again. So let's get to work and I'll show you a couple quick pointers and quick tips that you can do to take your car back over into a non-smoking car. What I normally do when I'm converting a smoked-in car, if I'm just treating a car with atmosklear, I always like to start in the driver's side front of the car. As you can see here, this is a pretty standard size car. It comes with a bucket here. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to lightly spray all the fabric down and we're going to scratch the formulation in. So let me show you what I mean by that. Here's the floor here. Now what we want to do is we want to set atmosklear into the fan setting, as you can see that. What we're going to do in this area is we are going to spray in about that much formula. Once we've sprayed it in there the first time, I'm going to lightly scratch the formula into the fabric and fiber of the material. What we want to do is we want to make contact with the odor source, and the way that we're going to do that is by scratching it in. What we're dealing with here is with smoke odor. It's a carbon smoke issue, and it's very easy. If atmosklear comes in contact with it, we will oxidize it. It will not return. So we lightly spray it again, about 6 triggers, and then we want to brush it in with our fingernails. Every surface lightly triggering and brushing the formulation in. Here's what we want to do on a basic seat application. This is a bucket seat. What you want to do is spray approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 triggers on this section. And then you will scratch the formulation in. I prefer to use my fingernails. Some people prefer to use a brush. I think the fingernails are just fine. What we want to do is we just want to get the formula into the fabric and fiber. The next thing we want to do is we want to spray the back side again with about 6 triggers, and we're going to brush this in again too. What we're doing here is we are eliminating the smoke smell from this seat. Now when I get done with the driver's side, what I do is I do the exact same thing over here on the passenger side. Bottom, a couple shots underneath, and then I'll do this bucket seat as well. Very important point here is most cars will have a little fabric on the side here. Make sure you spray the fabric and lightly brush it in. Alright? You'll do the same thing that we've done in the front into the back of the vehicle. Spray, scratch, formula in. We don't need but maybe half a dozen triggers on each surface, up to 10. What we are looking at here is what they call the headliner. It's actually the cloth sealing in the vehicle. What we need to do on this application is we need to lightly spray it with atmosklear, brush the formula in. Most of the smoke odor that we encounter in a car is going to be up in the headliner. Remember, smoke rises, so that's where you're going to find the issue. What we need to do on the headliner is not flood it tremendously. We just want to spray it so it's moist, and we're going to lightly brush the formula in. By brushing it in, we make contact with the smoke and we eliminate the smell. As you can see, the headliner up here is very delicate. So what we want to do is we're going to lightly spray it down with a little bit of atmosklear, getting it moist, and then we are going to scratch the formula in using our fingernails back and forth, just lightly making contact. We want to make sure that atmosklear gets into the fiber and oxidizes the smoke odor issue. We want to do this on every inch of the headliner. This is almost our last step. We've been treated the inside of the car, all the fabric, carpeting, with a light spray of atmosklear. We have brushed the formula in. And the last step that we're doing in the car is spraying the headliner. I always like to spray the headliner from the back to the front of the car. Remember, you're going to get some drift down when you're spraying. It's going to drift down, but it does not matter because atmosklear is non-toxic. So when it drifts in my face, I'm not concerned at all. But what we're going to do next is the ventilation system. Very important step when it comes to odor neutralizing a car that has smoke odor. So let me show you that step next. As you can see here, this is the windshield, the front end of the car. What we want to do next is we are going to treat the ventilation system, the heater and the AC unit, and we treat it by spraying atmosklear into what they consider the cowl. You see this little grilling down here, this little air pockets. These are your fresh air intakes, and what we're going to do is we are going to start in the interior of the car, lightly spraying the ventilations, and then we're going to start the car, come out here, and we're going to spray formula into these areas which is commonly called the cowl. But let me show you the inside application first. The final step in treating a car that has been smoke odor in is going to be the ventilation system. As you can see, we have a dash vent here, and you'll also find another one over there and one over by the driver's side. What you need to take a look at is your heating and cooling settings. As you can see in this car, it is not a digital dash. You do not set the temperature at, let's say, 68 degrees. You push the heat from red to cool. So what we do in this type of setting is that we are going to take the setting and we are going to split it right up the middle. Some half in red, half in blue, okay? That will be our setting. What we want to do next is we are going to spray a couple shots of atmosklear into the dash vents. So we'll go into this area and we will spray 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let the formula settle in there a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the one over here to the left, and we'll do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just like that, and we're going to let the formulation go. The next step that we do is we are going to start the car up, and then we're going to go outside. We'll turn the fan on high, start the vehicle, and we are going to treat the cowl area, the area that I showed you earlier, and we're going to trigger formula into that. So let's go out there and get that one done. Don't forget that we split the heat here. We're going to turn the heat on high, or the fan on high. We've already treated the ventilations with formula. We'll start the car with the fan pulling high. It'll pull in air from outside, and when we spray the cowl outside, we'll be mixing atmosklear in with the air, pulling it through the ventilation system. So let's go and try that. Once we've sprayed the inside ventilations and we've started the car, what we want to do now is we want to come out to the cowl area here, and we're going to spray atmosklear into the cowl. With the car on in the fan pulling high fan, it'll pull the formula right in. So what we do here is we lightly spray 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 20 triggers into that cowl, and there's another cowl down here too. And approximately another 20 triggers into this thing. Now what we want to do is we want it to be running in the car, and we're going to be pulling the formula into the ventilation system. We're going to pull it into the heater core and into the AC module, and it's going to be odor neutralizing at the same time. We let it run on high fan right now, and we go back into the car in about 3 to 5 minutes, and then we are going to do the final steps and the car will be done. As you can hear, the car is high fan, and I've already wiped down some of the formulation. Normally when you come back in the car, there's going to be some formulation spurting out of the dash here, so I normally just wipe it down with a paper towel. It's not going to hurt anything. Now the final step that we want to do in the car here is we want to come down here and we want to turn it on maximum air conditioning, engage it. We got it on high fan, and the last step that we do before we close the door is we are going to spray a couple shots, a half a dozen or so, of atmosklear into the vehicle, pointing it towards the ceiling, and then we're going to close the door. We let it run on maximum AC for about 10 minutes, and what we find is a car that has no smoke odor. To recap, what we want to do to start is to lightly spray all the carpets within the car. As you can see here, here's a floor mat along with the carpeting. Lightly spray it with the atmosklear formula, and then we're going to brush the formulation in, either using your fingernails or a brush. Our next step is to treat the seating throughout the car. Lightly spraying the bucket seats in this photo, and then again Once again, we use our fingernails or a brush to brush the formulation in. From here, what we want to do next is we want to treat the headliner in the car. So we'll start from the back of the car, lightly spraying the formulation onto the headliner and brushing the formula in once again. Please note that the formula will be drifting into your face during this procedure, but don't worry, the formula is benign, it will not hurt. The next step here is a very important step, and that is treating the ventilation system in the car. As you can see here, here's a picture of a dash vent. What we want to do is we want to trigger formula into the dash vent, about 5 to 6 triggers per dash vent. Next, what we want to do is we want to set up the ventilation system. So on a digital dash, we will set the temperature at 72. On the dash shown here is we'll split the heat. So we'll split the red and the blue, and then we will proceed to turn the car on, and we'll turn the fan on high. The next step is to move outside to treat the cowl. As you can see from this picture, the cowl can be located just below the windshield. Here is a close-up shot of what the cowl looks like. What you want to do is you want to trigger approximately 20 to 30 triggers into each one of the cowl locations within the vehicle. Please note that some of the cowls have screening over the top, and that is where you will be spraying the formulation into. After we've treated the cowls, we are back in the car, and we are going to change the ventilation over to maximum air conditioning. So what we want to do is we want to push it from red over to blue, turn it on AC, and turn it on maximum AC, and we're going to let it run on maximum AC for approximately 10 minutes. We're almost done here. Now we want to make sure the windows are rolled up, and the last thing that we want to do is we want to spray a half a dozen triggers of atmosklear into the car towards the headliner. We will close the door, roll up the windows, and let it run on maximum AC for 10 minutes, and we are done. Your car should be a non-smoking car. Congratulations! This was Scott Androff again with another helpful hint using atmosklear odor eliminator.